This village, nestled in the foothills of Zambales, has been christened Sibol. It is a new community formed only in December 1991. In many ways, Sibol is a typical farming community in the Philippines. But the outward peace masks the terror of lives still scarred by the eruption of Mount Pinatubo on June 11, 1991. President Teofilo Oliva remembers that day as if it were yesterday.
Nung pumutok ng vulkan, nandun kami sa San Rafael.
When the volcano erupted, we were in our barrio of San Rafael. We couldn't believe it was a volcanic eruption.
Putok nga ng vulkan.
It was so dark.
We
thought it was an eclipse.
Hindi kami naniniwala na talagang ganun.
We left our village and joined the flow of people who were fleeing. We reached Sakatian, Subic, past the town of Castillejos.
Sakatian, Subic. Doon sa lampas ng Castillejos. Doon ako umabot. Yung mga anak ko,
my children went ahead, and we lost each other.
Takbo doon, takbo dito, hindi alam ang gawin.
We were running all over the place. We didn't know what to do. You will never believe it. But we only brought with us what we could carry. I brought just one blanket, 2 bags of rice, and the clothes I was wearing on my back. Only that, and the 600 pesos that was in my pocket.
Pati 600 na piso nasa bulsa ko. Hindi ko man lang naisara yung bahay namin.
I wasn't even able to lock up our house.
Hindi ko man lang nailigpit.
I couldn't secure our valuable things. When we returned, the door couldn't be closed anymore because it had been filled with sand. The house collapsed. As I was leaving, the roof caved in from the weight of all the sand piled on top of it.
Nung umalis ako, bumagsak na yung mismong bubong. Yung bahay namin.
After the eruption, Carding Balario and his family fled the mountains of Zambales for the safety of an evacuation camp. When the measles epidemic struck the camp, 3 of his children fell ill, but there were no doctors to help them.
I was carrying my sick child. My 2 brothers also had 1 child each with them. We could barely carry them to the hospital. My daughter died on the roadside, and we left her there with no one to watch over her. After we had taken the 2 other sick kids to the hospital, I went back for my dead child, the poor girl. She was left there all alone with no one to look after her. We had to leave her because the 2 other children were seriously ill. They nearly died too.
Carding and his family went from one evacuation camp to another, living in tents and makeshift huts. They got as far as Palawan, stayed there for 6 months hunting snakes and wild animals for food. 2 weeks after arriving in Sibol, Carding was pessimistic about the future.
Paano ang kayang magpagbubuhayan ko?
How will I survive here? Before, we didn't have problems with food. Now, there are days when we don't eat.
Tagal mo isang araw hindi magkain. Kapi lang kapi.
We just drink coffee.
Ihi kang ihi, walang
So we keep peeing, but we have nothing to shit. Son of a bitch.
Yung sa amin,
in our place, we never lacked food. There was always plenty of bananas. We had many chickens. They were left behind. Now that is all gone. There is some hope in life here, but I don't know how long I can take it.
Close to 1 million people lost their homes and the land they tilled after Mount Pinatubo covered large areas of central Luzon with several feet of volcanic heat. Now many of those displaced have still not found permanent reset sites. For 25 years,
Sibol offered the services to the people. These attempts in honor employment actions in providing service to people.
a week, the women who feed all the first came and the kids were thin malnourished. The health program of ammunition and services children. Mariette's important responsibilities in the community as a threat of operative. Top of it, work hard day at here via children.
Maglalaba ako. I want to I grade stuff with my discipline. Stay out. I own small look after now. Children to help. My Elsha now cook meal. Sometimes pressure hustle. I wanted to send children to school, no matter where that can. I dream big. Hope eat us every day. It's nice here. There will be my kids have walk but not anymore for us.
Kami iba sana yung kuwan mag-amo.
They are ignorant. Children, I children go to school. If I am poor, will they have plans and hike the low lay?
Mixed group farmers, and even these feel sometimes some and panos discriminate on the item. During the start, the items like they will build their house for sale all by sleeping and sometimes